You guys just okay. All right, how do you write the conic in standard form? All right, let's look at this dude. We're gonna graph all these, even though we're gonna try to write them in standard form. Well, you have to have them in standard form in order to graph them. So let's look at this guy. We see the plus sign, so we think, ooh, that's a circle or an ellipse. And then you see the 4 right there. There's a coefficient in front of that one. There's no coefficient in front of that one, so you think, oh, it must not be a circle. Standard form should not have a coefficient in front of your variables. Okay, so we can't have a coefficient in front of your variables. Standard form normally equals 1 except for a circle, but we know this is not a circle because there's a coefficient right there. So we divide it by 36, both sides. Divide both sides by 36, so on the right side you get 1. On the other side you're going to have x squared divided by 36 plus 4 times y squared divided by 36. Can you simplify 4 over 36? Absolutely. You can divide the top by 4 and divide the bottom by 4. If you divide the top by 4 you get 1, divide the bottom by 4 you get 9. Now this one happens to work out nice and pretty like. Sometimes they don't work out pretty. Like if 4 did not divide 36, you would have a fraction on the bottom of this fraction. Right? That's okay. That's standard form. X squared over 36, we're going to add that to y squared over 9. That equals 1. Here we have standard form. Now, this is definitely an ellipse. We have a plus sign, it equals 1, there's no negative variables. So, there's a couple of things we need to know in order to graph this. We need the center. That's your HK. We need to know the vertices. ICE. And we need to know the co-vertices. And finally, for the ellipse, we need to know what the focus is. What's your focus? So let's start off with the center. What is my center for this equation? I see nothing adding to the x, and I see nothing adding to the y. Therefore, it must be 0, 0. And so your center, your HK, is 0, 0. Now, let's do our vertices. For our vertices, we need to find the major axis. Which one of these is the major? The 36 or the 9? Well, right, because it's an ellipse, we look at the bigger number, and that's going to be our major axis. So we start at the center, and we're going to count how many spaces, and which way?
6.
Are we going to count up, down, left, or right? That's a good question. Is it a hori? Is it horizontal, or is it a verti? Verti. Which one is it? Is it vertical or is it horizontal? We know that it's a hori. Well, how do we know it's a hori? The major axis is underneath the x. So, get rid of that verti right there. It's a hori. So that means for our vertices, they're going to be to the right and to the left. We just have to find out where they go. That's a 36, so that means we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces to get to one vertice. And then we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces to get to the other vertice. Alright, those are your vertices, and there's your center. So how are we going to write the points for it? Well, you can do the shortcut way. The shortcut way is just to take, since it goes left and right, that's the h changing, and their h is 0. And so we're going to go plus or minus 6, 0. Or you can just look right here and go, oh, that's a 6, 0, and that's a negative 6, 0. I just combined them. I would do it the lazy way. I got 6 by going square root of 36, just in case you didn't know where that number came from. Now, we need our co-vertices. For our co-vertices, we look at our other number, which is a 9. We take the square root of that, which is 3. And we're going to go up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to go down 3. So there's one of our co-vertices, and we go down 1, 2, 3, and there's another one of our co-vertices. And then you can draw your ellipse. Oh, let's draw our ellipse after we write what the co-vertices are. The co-vertices went up or down, and so that means it's the 0 that's going to change. So we have 0 equals plus, or the y 0. They're both zeros, but anyways, plus or minus 3. Now when I draw an ellipse, I like to do it by halves because I don't know why. It just makes it a little easier to draw your ellipse. I mean, that's an okay ellipse. This one's kind of like right there, but anyways. Alright, after that, finally, we do the focus points. For the focus points, you guys know how to find the focus point. You guys use a squared minus b squared equals c squared, or you guys are thinking major squared minus minor squared equals f squared. And so what is my major squared? Well, that's 36. We got it from right there. We just take the bigger number, and then we subtract the 9, which is the minor squared, and that's supposed to equal our focus squared. So our focus squared equals 27. That means the focus equals radical 27. And that simplifies. That simplifies. So we're going to write f equals 3 rad 20, no, 3 rad what? Let's see, it goes radical 9 times radical 3, that gives me 27, so it's 3 rad 3, that equals f. So, it's 3 rad 3 spaces. And look, the focus point is always following after the vertices. And so that means it's going to be on the x-axis with the vertices. We just need to know how many spaces it is. Like, how do we do that? 1, 2, 3, radical 3? I mean, like, what is it? Punch in your calculator, go square root of 3, and then hit equals, then multiply that number by 3. You'll get 5.2, like something like that. So we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a little bit. That's going to put me right there. There's one of my focus points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a little bit. My focus point's right there. And so now we just have to write the points. So we're back down here. Let's write our coordinates. It copies the vertices, and so for the vertices we changed the x value. So we're going to go plus or minus. I think I have like no space here. Plus or minus 3 rad 3, comma 0. There are the coordinates for my focus points.